Quite an experience to live in fear, isn't it? That's what it is to be a slave.
You ain't lying.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. So I'm really bad when it comes to keeping up with contemporary manga, and I wanted to break that trend and check out Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fujimoto, who is a creator who I haven't really read anything from before. So I went out and I bought the first volume of the manga, and I didn't like it. You know, it was literally just Blue Exorcist with the horny dialed to 11, or so I thought. And still kind of think if I'm gonna keep it a buck. But because I'm a crazy person who doesn't understand the value of money amidst a looming global recession, I bought volumes 2 and 3 because I just I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. And honestly, I'm glad I stuck with it, because Chainsaw Man is better than it has any right to be. So for anyone who's not keeping up with this book, well, first of all, I'm sure you've at least seen the cover or some of the characters, maybe at your local library, bookstore, comic shop, or a targeted ad because you keep liking lewd pictures of cosplayers who are dressed up as characters from the book.
Naughty, naughty.
But for anyone who doesn't know anything about this book, Chainsaw Man is a manga that follows this 16-year-old demon hunter named Denji. Wait, demon hunter? Devil hunter? I'm an ignorant American. I'm just gonna say demon hunter. The manga follows the 16-year-old demon hunter named Denji. And Denji hunts demons on behalf of the Yakuza because he's inherited his father's debt, which the original figure is never given, but on the first page where we meet Denji, he's already sold his right eye, one of his kidneys, one of his testicles, like a whole ass testicle, and that's only really cut his debt down to about 38 million yen, which in US dollars is like $285,000. So yeah, things are pretty bad for Denji. But he has this really plucky attitude, and he has this adorable pet demon named Pokita who turns into a chainsaw. She's actually Denji's primary demon hunting weapon, and pretty much his only friend. And together, Denji and Pokita live in this shit shack on the outskirts of town, and Denji tells Pokita about his dreams and desires, which are basically just titties. Hugging titties, licking titties, putting a tiggle pair of fat mommy milkers in his mouth, and rejoicing in the simple pleasures of titties. And, okay, this is where the manga lost me on my first read-through. I love comic books. I love video games. I love manga. For fuck's sake, I got my degree in philosophy. I can handle something being completely fucking ridiculous. But this, I don't know, man. Maybe it was the mood I was in, but this was just too mask off for me, I guess, when I first read it. But I think the manga manages to justify it later on, but I'll get there when I get there. So, the big twistaroony here. You know, not really the big twistaroony here, but it's more like the inciting incident. The Yakuza sacrifice Denji to a demon in hopes to gain more power for themselves. But Denji's pet chainsaw, Pokita, makes a pact with Denji at the last second, and she helps him, Sailor Moon, transform into a half-demon, half-human hybrid with a chainsaw for a face. And he just tears into the demons that the Yakuza tried to make a deal with, and he also kills all the Yakuza who tried to sacrifice him. And it's at this point where Denji is recruited by this woman named Makima, who's in charge of one of the divisions of the Public Safety Administration, which is a demon hunting organization in this universe. And he's given the option to either die because he's a demon, or live to kill demons under her say-so. And Okay, pretty paint-by-numbers premise on the surface of it all. What makes this different comes down to the characters and the way in which familiar tropes are used to explore real-world, relatable, tangible concepts. And the big thing that stuck out to me with this book was this idea of slavery being universal, and how everybody is a slave to something for the sake of attaining something else. Be it a demon, a Black Ops organization, a biological craving, or a goal. And over the course of the manga, we meet several characters who become integral to Denji's life, who represent different forms of slavery. Aki Hayakawa, who more or less acts as Denji's handler on behalf of the Public Safety Administration, is a slave to his past. The trauma of watching his family die at the hands of a fiend, which is a class of demon in this universe, it fuels his goal of killing every demon that ever existed in the most painful way possible. And there's also Power, Denji's partner, who is also a fiend, is a slave to the Bat Devil because while Power seems to hate everything on the planet, she likes cats. And the Bat Devil is keeping her pet cat hostage, so everything she does is done for the sake of getting her cat back. So with that in mind, that idea of being forever enslaved to something, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Denji being so hopelessly down bad because he's a teenage boy. He can't help it. Dude's hormones are a collar, and Makima is the one holding his leash. Well, until other women get involved and that leash is pulled in different directions, which I'm not going to talk about too much because I just don't know where a lot of that's going to go yet. But Tatsuki Fujimoto does a lot of really interesting character building with Denji and his compulsion to obey, particularly women, which may or may not be brought on by some sort of deep-rooted desire or craving for maternal affection, because they make a note of how Denji's mother died when he was a child in the first volume, I think. But I mean, I could also just be reading too deep into that, so I don't know. Regardless, a lot of these submissive tendencies have led to complete and utter fucking disaster, but we've also seen how overcorrecting them can lead to equally disastrous outcomes. A prime example of this is Denji breaking his bonds with the Yakuza and trading servitude to them to servitude to Makima and the Public Safety Administration in hopes that she can help him fulfill his lifelong dream of climbing Mount Titty Nipples. But through that, he winds up making an enemy of not just the Yakuza, but he also becomes the prime target for every demon in existence. And we see similar arcs for the supporting cast mirrored as well, or at least it looks like they're being set up, it seems. Namely for Power and Aki, but also this other demon hunter who works for the PSA named Kobani, who looks like she might end up being a pretty important character moving forward. I don't know, I just know that there's a lot of memes about her dancing while she's crying. I don't have any context for that yet. Like I said, I'm only on volume 3, or I guess volume 4 now, technically. And this is an 11-volume manga, so I'm working my way through it. I'll get there. But yeah, a lot of the weird, horny shit that this book is just not at all shying away from, I can appreciate it more retroactively because it's the core thematic driving force of the manga, as well as the driving force of Denji's character development. And, at least to my surprise, pushed Denji to become a more interesting protagonist as the series progressed. And I don't know, this shit hit like an abusive ex-girlfriend. I just was not prepared to enjoy this as much as I have, especially considering how a lot of the more recent manga, specifically horror manga, that have gotten really popular just haven't really done it for me personally. But I fucked with this. I fucked with this shit heavy. And I don't know, man, I'm really excited about reading the rest of it. And with it only being 11 volumes and each volume is like $10, that's not gonna be a bad investment. And hopefully I'll check back with you guys after I finish the series. I just wanted to make a video in the meantime because I don't know. I wanted to talk about it and see if anyone else has read it. But yeah, guys, let me know down below in the comment section. Are you reading Chainsaw Man? Have you heard of Chainsaw Man? And oh, important question: do you like boobs? That's just think about that for a second. You know, don't answer immediately. Just let it fester in your mind. Start thinking about boobs and really tell me if you like boobs. Just let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, guys. As always, I am the Mystical Green Beanie. Thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, adios, nachos, adios.